Hi, everybody. I'm late. I know I said noon and 2 minutes passed. Oh, well. Sometimes the day just kind of gets away from you, right? So I'm going to say good afternoon. I usually have trouble with good morning or whichever at noon. So good afternoon. I hope you're having a great day. The sun is finally shining here in Portland for maybe a few minutes before, it goes away again, but that's life. Um, Today we are here to talk how the how the difference between being the boss and being the CEO, and how about that difference, and how holding on to the identity of the first keeps you and your business from expanding. So that's what we're going to talk about, the difference between being the boss and being the CEO. Okay. If you're here with me live, say hi, like say something on the comments because I've got those over here. And if you're watching the replay, let me know. It's always nice to know that you've been here. Um, if you want the notes, write notes in the comments, write notes. And I'll send them to you when they get published, which is usually takes about a week. Okay. And I'll make sure that you get them directly into your messenger and so that you can see them. Okay. So I have to take those off because that's not actually the right place. I was just getting off a client call before I got on here, so getting myself organized. Okay, so let's start with defining what I mean by boss and by CEO. Okay, so we all start off as bosses of our business. When we are starting out or in startup mode, we automatically become our own boss. We're self-employed. We're doing all the things because that's what that phase of business requires, right? In startup, we just have to do everything. And so but what I remember, at least from being in startup mode and being at the beginning, was I was so proud to be self-employed. And which is great. I mean, that's so amazing, right? When you get to be your own boss. So that's awesome and it's perfect for that phase of business. If you identify as the self-employed boss of your business, write boss in the comments so I can see. Okay. Um, Now, so that's great for that phase of business. But at a certain point in your business's evolution, and here's what I mean by that certain point, okay? You have clients, like not just one, but you have clients, either many, like you have clients, right? You have revenue. So you're making pretty good money. Probably your revenue is in the low to mid six figures. You have a reputation for stellar service, but, and here's where that inflection point is, but capacity has peaked in terms of the hours available, the hands available, your brain power of what's available, and you are stuck. You feel stuck. Your business is stuck, you feel stuck. And it's at this point in your business's evolution that it requires a complete reworking of the way you and your business has been doing things. So if you've been in this place, in this inflection point between being the self-employed boss startup of your startup phase of your business, and you're at this point where you've been stuck because of capacity, even though you have clients, you have revenue, you're making pretty good money. Not enough. I didn't say enough, just that you're making good money and that you are delivering and have been delivering stellar service. Let me know in the comments that that's you. Okay. Um, okay. So, what your business requires actually is going from micro control. So that's where you're trying to control all the things. So instead of micro control from you, your business needs you to actually make a complete paradigm shift into macro control. from being the boss to actually being the leader, or what is commonly known as the CEO. Okay. Now, just so that we're all on the same page, let me tell you what, from my eyes, what the responsibility of the CEO or leader of a company, like what those responsibilities actually are. So funny, I see myself doing this. My mom used to always tell me to stop talking with my hands, so I'm going to try to be better about it. Okay. So the responsibility of a CEO leader is to be, one, the creative visionary, which is leading the way into the company's future strategically. So the creative visionary leading the way into the company's future. Two, the face of the business. So creating, building, maintaining relationships with potential clients, strategic partners, and the community. Okay. And three, the conductor, right? So you aren't abdicating your responsibility for the business, but you are being the conductor of what is happening in the business. That's macro control. That's not micro in every single piece of business that's happening in in all the pieces, right? So the responsibility of the CEO leader is to be the creative visionary, to be the face of the business, and to be the conductor. Going from boss to CEO requires you to get shit off your plate. So the first thing that needs to happen is you need to create some time and some space in order to be able to work on the business instead of in the business. So it really means getting shit off your plate. That's the first thing. Second thing is developing a staff and leadership team to focus on operations, because as the CEO leader, you need to be able to step out of daily operations, at least to an extent, in order for you to really focus on the future, being the face of the company, right? And being the conductor. And then the third thing is, in that process of going from boss to CEO, is you really have to step into and fully own your place as the head and actually the heart of your business. Yeah, that's where my heart is, right here. Okay, so oftentimes people think as a CEO, your job is to just be the leader, like, and as if the leader is just the head and it's totally, strategic or only strategic, only business oriented, only the head part. But your business, part of leading your business, that's really important to not forget, is that your business also revolves around your heart. You have to pour your heart, yourself, into leading your business forward. Okay. Now, this shift takes time, right? So the first order of business in doing it. So let me go back a sec, because here's the thing about this shift. Most business owners I know, in fact, I have come to believe that if you don't have this quality, the truth is that you're really not a business owner at heart, which is, most business owners, all business owners, are impatient. They want things to happen like that. Like, why didn't it happen yesterday? But the truth is, as we all know, like, you sit, life, business, things do not move as fast as your brain moves. That's just the way it happens, right? That's why you're a visionary, because your brain moves fast. That's why your company needs you as the visionary, so that you can see into the future. But it's the business's job. The business has to catch up, and that takes time. Okay. So, as I said, the first thing in the shift is creating time in your schedule, getting shit off your plate. I always think about it as what's the right term? Cleaning off your desk. You need to clean off your desk. So you have to be able to focus on shifting the whole operational model of your business while also dealing with the conversation that's happening inside your head, the beliefs that you have about who you are and what you're capable of. And as Lisa says, right? Hi Lisa. As Lisa says, yeah, impatient, never. Like, I know Lisa, right? She's been a client of mine. She fits that mold of business owner. Like, impatience is a intrinsic quality characteristic of somebody who not just owns a business but builds and grows a business beyond the startup phase, is that whole impatience piece. Okay, so as I was saying, you need to be able, the reason why you need to be able to have time in your schedule, the reason why you need to clean your plate first is because that you need this brain space and the actual hours to really work on how to shift your operational model and deal with the inherent beliefs that you see the world with in order to be somebody who is maybe bigger than you have ever thought of yourself as being. I'm hoping that makes sense. So it's really a two-pronged approach, right? It's the nuts and bolts of how you actually do things, which it includes, the workflow, how clients move through your process, who deals with each part, what does delivery look like. These are things that I call, like, not just workflow, but standard operating procedures, like making sure that those are clear, making sure that all the pieces, the nuts and bolts of your business, that they are almost like they've got a pattern that is repeatable, they're duplicatable, that people can do them without having to make things up on the spot, right? So that's one thing, is how you actually do the things that you do in your business. And the second part of the two-pronged approach is personal development and growth. It's really shifting your self-perception, uh, which, believe it or not, is fundamentally 90% of the approach. Most people think that action is 90% and the personal development part is only 10%. But the truth is that you can do all the systems and stuff, but without the self-reflection, without the willingness to see how you can be different, how you can be in the world, be in your business differently than you have been in the past, none of those new ways of doing things are going to stick. And also, they're not going to free up your time. Okay. So, there are a lot of signs that you could be at the precipice of this shift between being the self-employed boss of your startup phase of your business and needing to be the CEO leader of your business. Okay. So the most common is feeling stuck. And you can feel stuck in any number of ways. For instance, your revenue might hit a plateau, or you have no more hours in the day to work on the essential projects that you know that your business needs in order to grow beyond what it is at the moment. You just can't. You just don't have it. 3, you're constantly putting out fires or reacting to issues instead of bringing in new clients or starting new initiatives or doing the next cool thing that you want to be doing. You're just stuck being a fireman with a hose putting out fires. Another way you might be stuck is that you need help, whether they're employees or contractors. But you don't have the time to hire, to train, or develop a team, right? Those things take time, they take brain power, they take thought. Yeah, right. You get it. I know. I'm sorry. I don't know what number of ways. So first was revenue hits a plateau. Second is no more hours. 3 is putting out fires. 4, you need help. 5, you're burnt out. You just don't have it anymore. You don't have energy. You're exhausted. you feel overworked, you just don't know how you're going to pull that like whatever new flame, there is none. There's no flame. It's just like sputtering smoke. Or maybe you don't have the capacity to deliver anymore. And this I find a lot. This is a really common place where people, business owners, end up feeling stuck between these two things. Is all of a sudden they realize they don't have any more capacity. They don't have any more capacity to deliver anymore on what they might sell. And so they aren't selling anymore. And that makes a real, it's like a seesaw effect in your business where you don't have capacity to do anymore. So you don't sell for a while, or maybe, and then all of a sudden you've delivered on everything that you've sold. And now you have to start selling again. And right. And it's like this. And all that's doing is treading water. You're not moving forward at all. So here, I'm going to give you some first things to do when you find yourself in this position. Okay. So this is the first thing I have most of my clients do. So if you're on here, if you've been my client and you're watching, you know, let us know that you've done this exercise, even if maybe you want to say like what you got out of the exercise. But so the exercise is really about finding out what you're doing that you can delegate and what your particular zone of genius really is. Because aside from the things that I mentioned, as the responsibility of the CEO being the creative visionary and the face of the business and the conductor, there are specific things that you do in your business that really are your zone of genius, that you do better than anybody else, right? And so we want to make sure that you know what that is, because usually if it's something you do really well, it's also something you really enjoy doing. And so giving it up will take some of the joy out of your business, because you won't be doing that thing anymore. So we want to make sure that there's some of that still left. And the truth is if it's your zone of genius and you love to do it and only you can do it, then your business is not going to last long if you completely stop doing it. Does that make sense? So we're going to find out what you can delegate and what your zone of genius is. Okay, so how do you do that? I'm going to give you this exercise. You're going to take a regular piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. You're going to make a vertical line down the middle. So you have two columns. One column is labeled the things only I can do. And the other column is labeled the things that I'm doing that somebody else could do. And as annoying as this is, you're going to carry this piece of paper around with you for the next 2 weeks to a month. And maybe you're lucky enough to do all of your work from a desk, so you can just leave it on the desk. But I have lots of clients who are out in the community, because most of my clients aren't what we call online businesses. My clients are really often service businesses whose clients are all local to them, like in real life businesses, not online businesses. And so oftentimes they're out in the community. So if that's you actually need to carry this thing around with you. And every single time you change tasks, I want you to write that task down in one column or the other. Okay. Now, what is this going to do for you? By the end of the month, and to be perfectly honest, there are tasks that we do as business owners that maybe come around only once a quarter, or maybe they come around only every half year, or only annually. So you're going to try to remember what those are, but mostly these are going to catch the tasks that you do on a regular basis. And what this is going to do is, in that column that are all the things that you're doing that somebody else can do, you're going to batch them into what I call like roles or job description. So there might be a whole bunch of admin things. There might be a whole bunch of project manager type things. There might be a whole bunch of financial things. There might be, I don't know, in one of the businesses that I support, it might be driving, right? There might be some actual delivery stuff on there. And that's a different role. So that you can see specifically what are the roles you need to hire in order to create space on your desk to get shit off your plate. So that's one thing it shows you. The other thing that it shows you is the things that you're doing that really, at least at this point in your journey, that you can see that you're the only one who can do those things. And the reason I'm saying at this point in your journey, what I found is that for most business owners, the first time they do this, the list looks really, really different than when they do it 6 months, 8 months down the road, because things that they thought that only they could do actually go into the column that somebody else could do. That's kind of like the advanced level, right? You have to go through this in stages, because let's be honest, we're business owners. We are control freaks. And so the idea of giving away some of the things on our list, even if somebody else could do them, jabs us in those control centers, and we're just unwilling. And so instead of like banging your head on the wall or making yourself do something that you're really not ready for, I always, start with the easy stuff. Just start there. And as you go along, you'll be shocked at how much easier it becomes to let go of some of those things that you have control over. Okay, so anyway, so there, from there you can see the roles that you could use, then you can decide who you can hire first. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing that is absolutely essential is to free up an hour in your schedule every week, no matter what. Like, unless the building is burning down or one of your kids is bleeding on your home, like nothing gets in the way of that hour, and that hour is reserved to work on your business, to do this work. Because if you can't pull an hour out, no matter when it is, for you to work on this, you're never going to get to the other side of this stuck piece. Okay. Okay. So, first things, an hour in your schedule. Second thing is this exercise. And the third thing, honestly, is hire a mentor, because it will help you navigate the path with ease. It'll be much faster. You need somebody who can lead you through rebuilding the business infrastructure while also rewiring your neural internal operating system, so that you can grow your own view of yourself, your world, and what you're capable of. Do I think that you can't do this by yourself? No. I would never be so I forget what the word is, but I would never tell you that that's true. Of course you can, but it's going to take you a lot longer, because it's so much harder to do this work, to keep yourself on track, to be accountable to yourself. It is. It just is. We all know this is true. How many times have you said to yourself, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, and then you don't do it, right? So hire a mentor, hire a coach, hire a strategist like me. This is what I do. The one thing that I do is I get people over this particular hump, from boss to CEO. And the people I do it for most often are people whose clients are in their community, not online, but in their community. I have worked with online business owners, so I hope they don't get mad at me for saying that. But really, mostly what I do is work with people who have businesses in a community, because then you can show up as a leader, not just for your business, but out there in the world, in the real world. Not here in the it's not really the fake world, right? It's the online world, which is a completely different thing. So that's me. So um I know I've said a lot of things, some really, really specific things. I'm just gonna go over them, the important pieces again. Okay. So this is for really you. This is most likely where you are if you've been in business for a while, so that you have clients, you have at least a six-figure, low to mid six-figure revenue, you have a reputation for stellar service, but your capacity has peaked and you're stuck, right? And you're going from being the boss, self-employed boss of the startup phase of your business, into being the CEO of your business. And as the CEO, what you really are is the leader of your business, and it's your job to be the creative visionary that leads the company into its future strategically, is the face of your business, so that you are the one bringing in new potential clients, creating strategic alliances with our partners, and being in the community. And you're the conductor of your business. And you're going to feel like you're stuck. And you might be stuck in revenue. You might be stuck with time to work on stuff. You might just be putting out fires, right? And so these are the warning signs that this is the work that you need to do, which is clearing your plate, reconfiguring the infrastructure in your business so that you can get yourself out of daily operations, and really learning how you can take your strengths, your personal strengths, and lead your company into the future strategically as well as relationshiply. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. Okay. Um, if you want the notes for this, just write notes, okay, underneath in the comments, and that way I'll know to send you we usually transcribe these notes and then put them up on the blog, but I'll make sure that I'll send them to you directly if you write that in the comments. And also, if you want to see like where you're at and what your strengths are in business, and mostly the pieces that are most in your way moving from the self-employed boss to the CEO, I'm going to recommend that you actually go to swampceoquiz.com and take my quiz. And it will tell you what particularly is in your way, where you're stuck of these common areas of feeling stuck, and how to get out of it and how to move on to the next step. So yeah, go take that quiz. It's swamped, SWAMPED CEO quiz.com. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that if you're watching this as a replay, that you comment. If you have any questions or you want to talk about it further, you can definitely talk in the comments on whether you're seeing this on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or wherever you're seeing it, or send me a message. Okay. I hope you have a great day, rest of your day. And yeah, I'll be back soon. Bye.